السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا بكم مرة أخرى في معهد عاصل للدراسات والحلول التعليمية. In this video also we are going to explain the explicit short report. Before we have explained how to practice the best practices in the report, memo and email. Now we are talking about writing short report, how to write a short report in English and how to use the best practices for writing the best short report. And here we are going to talk about many things as the best practices in this report. Text in the report, look at the beginning, the title of the report, evaluation of the Foxworth e-firm software, and the name of the company. Over the past year, our firm has been searching for an efficient, cost-effective software system that will allow us to manage litigation matters. In March, the firm learned about the Foxworth e-firm software product that seemed to address many of our needs. Since that time, we have been evaluating the software through visits to the developer and contacts with firms presently using it. That's the introduction of the report. So the writer has used best practices as the writer or the writers have chosen to skip a blank line between the single spaced paragraph and the intended the first line of the paragraphs. One of the other is sufficient, but these writers feel both will make their writing more appealing and clearer, so they have used both. The second, the report begins with an introduction that explains why the reader is receiving such a report now. As a result of our evaluation of the software, we recommend purchasing it. This report explains the feature we identified that the software we purchase must have, and our evaluation of the Foxworth e-firm software based on these features. In the second section, the introduction contains a statement of recommendation. It is the primary focus of the report and of a great interest to the reader. We introduce it at the beginning of the report, which is one of the best practices we should know and do at writing reports, like an executive summary for the report. The introduction ends with a statement of the contents of the report, which is this report explains. The statement is the writer's contract with the reader. It is like what we call why I'm writing this report. The answer is this report explains the features we identified that the software we purchase must have, and our evaluation of the e-firm software based on these features. And look at this. Features the software must have as a title. Heading. In our meetings preparing for this evaluation, we developed a set of features the software product we purchase must have. So the first point immediately follows the statement of the contents of the report. The writer introduces the first point with a heading containing the key term from the statement of the contents features the software must have. The heading has blank line before and after it for visual clarity and standing clear. The first sentence after the heading opens the explanation using the key term features the software must have. This helps the reader stay oriented, cohesive to the point of the explanation. The software must allow us or our firm to do all of the following: share information, link to e-discovery resource or resources, manage document storage and retrieval واللي هي الاسترجاع and list contents here like that. So the writer breaks the features into a bulleted list and introduces them with an explicit statement, blank lines before and after each section. Each bulleted list item make them easy to read. Clarity, الوضوح. The writer uses a one sentence paragraph for closing the thought in this first section. So one sentence paragraph are useful in explicit business writing and ensure easy to read. Then he started with our evaluation of the Foxworth eFirm software based on the features. We evaluated the Foxworth software to determine whether it offers the features we agreed the software must have. Our assessment for each feature follows. Now the analysis. The second point begins with the heading that uses the identical key term from the statement of the contents presented in this introduction that add a great feature for the report, which we call it coherence, cohesive, unity. So the first sentence of the point repeats the key terms, evaluation of the Foxworth eFirm software and features. So the writer uses the key term features as often as necessary without substituting a synonym. And you start sharing information, blah blah blah, and the list go like that. So the features in the evaluation appear in the same order in which the writer presents at the beginning. So the writer precedes each evaluation with the name of the feature in bold, using identical words like a subheading for the bolded list. So the sentences are clear, straightforward, and direct. The writer uses simple, plain, easy, busy English words. And the recommendation begins with the title, a bold heading, to set it apart and to set it clear. Our recommendation, the Foxworth eFirm software has all of the features we identified that we require in an efficient, cost-effective software system. It will also allow internal and external team members to manage litigation matters. We recommend that the firm purchase and implement the software. So the final paragraph contains strict statement, recommendation of the evaluation, followed by a clear recommendation. That's what we call it, the best practices we should do in our short reports. And I'd like you to practice using it. Thanks a lot for this, and I hope that I explained for you 4 models for best practices for formatting explicit documents as an email, a memo, a report, and a letter with the best practices. That's what we call it, explicit business writing. Thanks a lot. Waiting for your comments for these videos to continue giving you with the things we can and Allah helps us to do. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Aziz, ILS General Director. Be in touch with new videos. أستودعكم الله.